So glad you joined us today.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, so, well, this is an awesome film, first of all, and it's not often that you see a religious film with kind of that quality. It's kind of a cool thing that the Whites and PureFlix is doing, but let's just talk a little bit about the story of Samson and some of the roles that you're playing. First of all, remind us of, like, the story of Samson.
So Samson is obviously the strong man. He has supernatural strength from God, and he's given a certain set of rules to live by in order to maintain his strength. And my character, Delilah, is given the task to find the secret to his strength. And in doing so, in the film, she ends up having to choose between love and betrayal.
Yeah, great. Is there anything in the filming of this movie that kind of surprised you?
Well, I honestly didn't know much about the story of Samson and Delilah prior to filming. I knew a little bit, but everybody else seemed to know more than I did.
All the boys
and
did.
So, yes, all the
Killed
boys
an army with
did.
a jawbone.
Exactly. Awesome. So the entire process was new to me. I didn't know about the story. I learned about it as I went.
I mean, playing Delilah, I mean, you're a Christian, right? And, like, your faith is super important to you. It must have been kind of weird playing Delilah, who's this kind of villain, and what was that like for you?
Well, maybe it was a good thing that I didn't know much about Samson and Delilah, because I didn't want to just play her very one-dimensional. I didn't want to play her as this wicked temptress that most people know her as. I wanted her to be relatable and to humanize her and to show that we're all flawed and that we all make mistakes, and it's in recognizing those mistakes and learning from them that's what's important.
Yeah, because I think when most people read Samson, they're like, oh, Delilah, I hate her. But, like, really, it's almost like, so are you saying, like, in the film, you almost bring a little more sympathy to the character of Delilah, like maybe she's caught or something like that? Yeah,
without giving away too much, she's basically in conflict. She's between doing what's right and doing what's wrong, and she is wicked at times, but she kind of learns from her mistakes, and she regrets some of her actions.
Do you think, or at least in your interpretation of the story, do you think Delilah really loves Samson?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know if the audience will see it.
Okay, all right.
I guess.
Yeah, totally. So, okay, so Samson isn't really like your typical hero, story. I mean, it is, but it's different. If somebody watches this movie, though, they really are going to walk away with a sense of hope, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think, I guess the overall message of the film is to understand that if you have faith in God and through the power of prayer, that we can overcome any obstacle, and that making mistakes is okay, and falling down over and over is okay, but knowing that God will never turn his back on us, and that we can always turn to God, no matter how many times we mess up.
See, and that message is often lost, isn't it, in the church, that like you said, making mistakes is okay. It really is, right?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you learn from them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, we all make mistakes and we mess up, but God never abandons us, never leaves us. And I think at the heart of so much of the struggles in the church is this idea that if I mess up at all, like, I have to hide it, or I can't tell God or tell people. And I guess that's one of the great stories of Samson, is like God never really actually leaves Samson. He still loves him.
Yeah, he's sort of this imperfect hero.
Yeah. Like the anti-hero.
Yeah.
Great. So we appreciate it so much that you guys are doing this film. And I know that a lot of people are thrilled to see this movie. It's an awesome film. So we're encouraging you guys here in the church and watching on television to check out Samson. It's in theaters all across the nation. And I think we're excited for you guys.
Thank you. We're excited too. Thank you so much.
Well, Caitlin Leahy, thank you so much for being here. And thanks for all you guys do.
Thank you for having me.
This great film called Samson. Now, if you grew up in the church, Samson was probably your favorite story if you're a little boy like me. And I always wondered why it wasn't a movie. And finally, PureFlix has done it. Our guest today is Caitlin Leahy, and she's going to tell us a little bit about this movie. But before we get there, let's just check out this trailer.
His hand of vengeance. It's his will. It is not mine.
It's the God who gives you such strength.
touching the dead, no cutting with my hair.
The powerless spurs of a Hebrew with great strength. It is a story for slaves, nothing more.
Why'd you do this?
You find me the secret of his power.
Lie to lie. If you wanted to fight, you should have brought more men. I want him dead.
He has the strength of a god. I saw it with my own eyes. He is not a god!
My strength is terrible strength. My name is Samson, and you will face the wrath of God.
Well, this is an awesome film, first of all, and it's not often that you see a religious film with kind of that quality. It's kind of a cool thing that the Whites and Pure Flix is doing, but let's just talk a little bit about the story of Samson.